Monday, the 15th of January, and we are back at Wainui again. It's supposed to be a pretty windy day. It doesn't seem to be as windy as expected. Great conditions. Lee's just got 150 with his beautiful sheer ultralight. Brent's just flying this ultralight wind burner here. Alex is de-essing the Gizmo.
Yeah,
Is the Giz light or a Gizmo?
It's a Gizmo.
Gizmo.
About 650 grams.
Bit of a whistle there. This is Alex's dad, Peter, about to launch a combat wing. Oh, not bad. The wind is a bit off angle, it's a bit north, and she is quite low, not as strong as expected. That's Josh just launching a rock breaker there. It's actually the Gaza burner, 60 inch with the centre air brake. Yep. 1468 grams. Josh heading up with his light scorcher. So Gaza's got the 60 inch burner going around pretty nicely actually. Alex is just down the bottom telling him how high to go because he was cutting his top turns a bit short. Well, Josh has been lurking in the wings, waiting to drop in with the light scorcher. Waiting in the line for a go. So what's it like, Josh? I'm a bit scared about flying.
It's rough.
Rough.
Yeah. How's it going, Josh?
That's Alex having a go with the 16-inch burner.
It's like it gets small real quick. The sight gets small. That's what I different view.
Yeah, Josh has just moved further along the hill and down the backside a little, which he's finding is giving him a lot better feel.
Lee and Gaza and the boys have bought all this grocery stuff and they got it in an esky in the back of the car, so I've just helped myself to a really nice sandwich. But I've just had to fly the Scratcho and I was very dead scared about doing it, and had a really good session actually, got 162 miles an hour. So it's not perfect, she is a bit low, so you've got to get down in the pocket.
So this is not looking good. D60 that was flying has gone in. It looks more like a funeral procession than a search party. Meanwhile, Pete's just keeping out of the area by de-essing on the other side. From what Scott said, it arced over and went in with lots of speed. But at the same time, Alex is yelling out, stop flying, because he's been down to check it out Dilmar and says it is cranking. And so it's now a major repack job, get it all back in the car, head off to Dilmar. Here we are at Dilmar, it's wind everywhere. Thus ensues a massive repacking effort, detaching the trailer and putting all of the proposed equipment into the back of Alex's ute so he can drive it up to the top. I think these guys are planning on driving up to the top as well. It's a fair walk. We're certainly not going to get Peter's Honda Integra up there. There's so much wind here, no one's complaining. A quick stop off at the Dilmar Cafe. Yeah. There's wind, wind and more wind. The convoy prepares to head. And Lee's done really well to get the hire car RAV4 up. He had to charge it up some rough bits, and thus ensues now another major unpacking job. It's a long time since I've been up to Dilmar Ridge. I have embarrassed memories of flying my BPV into my leg up here and damaging the wing really badly. It is like Wainui, just incredibly spectacular. Down there and all the way up the length of that ridge that we just walked up, it's blowing like crazy. You get in this pocket and you start to kind of relax and feel like there's really not a lot of wind around anyway, but just 10 metres over there, it's blowing its ring off. And it's Brent de-essing his Gizmo.
Next plate. Just flew the Giz Light, 125. Getting a little bit overpowered, so it's pretty good wind. My airframe best with this particular model is 130.
Peter's just de-essing his J-Dub.
If you get it right, it really accelerates fast, a little bit too fast to keep up with.
You punched out to a massive height.
It did, didn't it? Go up high. I had to turn to see it again.
That's your scorcher?
Yeah, it's pretty broken.
Josh is putting together a scorcher. Heavy scorcher, Josh?
Yeah.
It's not that strong.
83.
It's all to do with what the wind's doing in the front, eh? 190.
Alex has been de-essing this fairly light synergy, and he took it to 195, and I think Brent then had to go and took it 193.
Yeah, 194. Just hold the water in, and it'll get. You watch. It'll just crack out. And it's 206.
That's the first time we've got over 200 today, I think. The forecast a few days ago was for today to be a big day, 400 plus conditions, and no, it really hasn't come to that. It's not as strong and it's a bit off angle. I think Lee's going to have a bit of a fly of the synergy as well.
Yeah, let it run out away. So you're entering way too low. See where the ridge is? Yeah. You put on that bottom turn back.
Too early. Yeah, let your hand off the elevator there.
Yeah, let it go away from us. It's starting to get me nervous.
Okay, let go. Yeah, starting to get comfortable with this. He's a bit worried about getting too close to that hill. We've been reassuring him that he's got plenty of air underneath him over there, and he's got to keep those keep the entries high. It certainly makes all the right noises, the synergy. So Alex said it's a Weldon style approach here. Oh, that was all right. Just trying to convince Brent to fly the Rubicon. This Rubicon, the quality of the finish is just magnificent. Let's put on you, Dave.
Put it back in the cupboard.
Everyone ogles it. So this is Josh flying his light scorcher.
136 job.
And no, not that light, he says.
Probably used to be.
But as happened yesterday, the problem is that we're sort of looking towards the sun.
Yeah, it is.
And it's getting worse, and it's a bit hazy. There's a bit of a haze in the air, and it just is making it very glary, and also making the planes quite hard to see. Well, that's hooking.
7-1.
Lee's now flying his Scratcho. I don't think it's a really heavy one.
About the same as your heavy one.
Okay.
It's the old core bendy one.
Oh yeah. I just had a fly of my Scratcho, and I got it up to 171, which I was pretty stoked with, and I've handed it to Alex. So one of his first comments is that he doesn't really feel like comfortable flying mode 1. But here he is, he's done 204 so far. And it's making the right noises. Well, I am totally stoked. I just flew the Scratcho here at Dilmar, and it felt great actually, and I got 171. It was absolutely ripping. I insisted on Alex having a go, and he got 204. So I'm absolutely stoked for this 1.7 kilo home-built half-core Scratcho to have gone over 200. It's a ripper. This is the Rubicon in action for the first time this trip. Being flown at the moment by Alex, I believe, and he's nailing it.
Really good. Really good.
Oh, so do you still reckon it's the best handling plank, Alex?
One of the best ones.
Gee, that thing looks smooth.
It's the K2M of planks.
He's two feet off the deck. Oh, look at that. That's the lowest anyone's been flying today. Jeez.
It's the quietest plane all day too. By far, I reckon.
Bit of inverted DS.
Foot off the ground. We'll just come away from New Zealand feeling like crap because we're never going to be any good.
Compared to Alex.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy too. I think we're all very proud of our planes. And Dave, you really do deserve to be proud of this one. That was 216 with the Rubicon. Well, unfortunately, there was a big thump when Gazza was de-essing his Gazza burner, and it's really gone in hard. He did get a PB, 140. Good on you, Gazza. And Lee was saying he actually wanted that plane, but he's changed his mind. He doesn't want it anymore.
Can I get my deposit back?
Peter has his quite heavy Scratcho up, I think, 2.2. So calm in the back here at the moment. This looks like trouble. What's happened?
Oh,
167 happened.
Peter's very proud of the fact that he's got 167, and I am too, with that old Scratcho.
But unfortunately, the full up wasn't quite enough at the bottom.
It went in with a terrible thump. He reckons it's fixable.
It's unscathed.
I think you've
We'll just glue this on and it'll be fine.
Scotty's just flying his green synergy.
On, look.
It feels so calm here on the back, but there's obviously plenty of power. Like, you know, just hear that warmth through the shear. This green synergy has no wipers, so I'm not sure if you can hear, but it's squeak, 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 squeak. Oh, not bad.
Nervous with it.
Yep. And you're wearing dirty sunnies.
I couldn't see. The glare off the ocean was terrible.
Yeah. What's that word? Glare.
Glare, yeah.
I'll run this through Google Translate software later. Rubicon launch. Alex is now flying Brent's new Rubicon. It's had one short flight before. There's some power there. These are great conditions today, hey, really. You can DS to your heart's content at the moment.
181.
I think he's still fiddling with some trims.
204.
213,
213.
213,
215.
That's really great.
216,
Oh, 216. Well, I think we just beaten the previous speed for today with the Rubicon.
223.
222.
223.
$194.
So Brent's now taken over and is flying his own Rubicon. Dave, Larrikin Dave, built this one for him specifically for this trip. It's a work of art.
$180.
Oh, you can hear the power when he gets into it. You just got to get that bottom segment just right to really get the power. Rubicon, best speed I think it was 223. Yeah.
Yeah.
The power's pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, it does feel a little more powerful. Need planes dark.
Alex is readying his crack waxer. We always look forward to a session with the crack waxer. It's not ideal recording conditions because of the glare. This is Alex flying the crack waxer. Whoa! Whoa! That's what happened, like that.
Oh, I think you just did one.
Big suck downs.
Oh, backside ninja star.
He's into the backside after the ninja star.
Yeah.
Can he make it out? Yes, he's made it. Oh, 2 suck downs in a row. Like headed for the deck, pulled up.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. Look at that. I mean, it's actually not great for videoing because it's just the plane doesn't stick out. Well, he's going reverse.
I was thinking a rock record, but
Yeah, that's true. The white's the best thing in these conditions, isn't it? Wow.
I was so happy. It was my first real PB.
you did 195 with that thing?
Yeah. My first ever DS trip. Went to Roda and flew this one.
So Weldon's that good then?
Yeah, well, Scotty's not real good, so it must be the sort.
It's also the plane.
Oh, fucking look at that.
So it's late in the day, man. Nearly 8 p.m, but there's still plenty of good air and the sun's high. Ooh, he's coming out low. He's cutting the grass. Sort of went out of view. Where's it gone? Bang. Nope.
Not today. I think it was going to console this thing,
Oh, I'm pointing directly up into the sky for part of that. This is getting boring, isn't it? Watching this thing.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing I realised, standing further back like this, you can actually start to work out what he's doing. Because when you stand next to him, I can't work out what the frick he's doing at all.
That's an
Oh, that's enough frivolity. I'm going to end up with too much video to edit here. So now this is Lee, again de-essing his Scratcho. This is the plane you said was indisputably the best plane in the whole world.
Yep, it's in the top one.
Which I heartily agreed with.
To the top, let's think about it for a second. One. How's your scratch?
If you ever have a plane in the door,
Gee, that's good.
just use that wing as an axe, and it'll cut right through.
I can hear a siren down
Yeah,
there.
that's the fire at
Car crash alarm.
FRR.
Most likely in this light, I'd say you car crash.
Whoa! This Scratcho is really making the noises.
174. 178.
Now, same plane, Scratcho.
207. 213.
Oh, flutter!
As fast as that one goes.
213 is about V max. That's what it was. Absolutely beautiful bomber. Look at that. Oh, it's going back. Nice. Well done, Lee. So we instantly thought that this flutter was from rudder, but flap's completely loose.
No, it's the
No,
servo.
the whole servo's come loose.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of Scratchos with some history here. This is an Ampreg Scratcho that I sold to Alex, who sold to Rob. Rob did an amazing paint job on it, and then he changed the paint job and did this paint job, and then he sold it to Scott. Peter's broken Scratcho over here is also an Ampreg Scratcho, so it's one of two that came to New Zealand. And that's why that wing survived that immense crash that Peter had with it earlier on. It's Peter-proof. We've subjected it to scientific testing. That is the Ampreg Scratcho.
Now, the first time I flew it, there wasn't enough wind. I had to land down the bottom of the hill, broke the nose off.
Jeez.
That's good.
This Rob Duff painted Ampreg foam filled Scratcho weighs bang on 2.5 kilos. We're getting speeds?
180.
Actually, Alex has to land it because it was fluttering. He's having trouble landing it because he can't get the nose down. I turned my camera off when I meant to film the landing, but he got it down. Got talked out of flying his heavier Scorcher earlier, but yeah, the wind's pretty good, so he's going for it.
I just can't see anything.
Well, this one should pop with the white.
Heavy Scorcher launch. Actually, it is pretty visible even down in the glare of the sun. I'm having trouble following it, I've got to say. That fluoro orange, it's the most visible thing we've seen looking in this direction with the sun over that way. Fluoro orange and white, really good. This is Gaz's double burn. It's his heavier, bigger wind burner.
Look at that wind on the water.
Whoa!
Want me to launch that for you?
Oh! It looks like they finally got the Gaza burner airborne. Some nasty surprises if you're not careful. And unfortunately, when Josh went to land the heavy Scorcher, he's gone too far back and too low, and it's just plunged down. And look over the back of this, it's just really, really steep, and he's well down somewhere, but in this thick gorse. For us Australians, it's hard to recognise, but this gorse bush is seriously thick, spiky stuff. There are people who've lost planes on this stuff and just never got them back. So Josh is on the way to recovering it, but it's going to be a painful process because he has to toss it up through the heavy bush. But you can see here at the ridge the cloud's starting to come over. Oh, there goes the Gazaburner into the cloud. Josh scrambled down through gorse, which is no mean feat, and if he hadn't been able to see one wingtip there, it would have been doubtful that he'd ever get the plane back. Had to pull it apart into 2 bits. Fortunately, he had the tool in his pocket. Scrambled back up through the bush, but it was a big job, and I can't believe he did it without long pants on.
I got a prickle.
And when he has a hot shower tonight, he is going to be in pain. It's been a really great afternoon here at Dilmar. So from Dilmar Reg, it's goodbye from the crew. Yay! Let all out.
Oh, look at that sunset.
International roving.
There's a nice way to finish.